This is the McGuinness unit in Manchester, one of the largest teenage mental health units in the UK. It's the place of last resort for teenagers with eating disorders or psychosis, who self-harm or have OCD. An inpatient facility that takes in the suicidal and disturbed to try and turn their lives around. For a year, we were given unparalleled access to film the patients.
No!
And the staff.
In the last 5 minutes, I've had a cup of water poured over my head.
In the good times. And the bad. This is the reality for some of the 500,000 young people in Britain who have to deal with mental illness. 3,500 young people pass through units like this each year. This is the chance for some of them to tell us what it's really like on the inside, and how others see them on the outside.
Hey, Brandon.
17-year-old Matty has just been admitted to the McGuinness psychiatric unit.
That's done. It is. That is done.
Matty suffers severe depression and experiences psychotic episodes, hearing voices in his head.
I've had suicidal thoughts and I've attempted suicide numerous times. Stabbed myself, hanged myself. And that's it.
Matty's voices say that someone will kill him on his 18th birthday, which is only 6 weeks away. These paranoid thoughts have been so strong that he has considered taking his own life.
And I was actually planning to buy a gun, like on my 80th birthday. Instead of someone else doing it to me, I'll do it myself.
Matty admitted into hospital as he was seen by a lecturer at college. He was writing down on the internet thoughts of wanting to end his life. So the lecturer brought him to A&E and he was transferred here later when a bed became available. Matty complained of experiencing depressive symptoms for over a year. We know he talked about experiencing voices, but those, rather than being kind of psychotic, were more related to trauma, and he experienced those voices when he was experiencing any distress.
Matty has been attending some of the group counselling sessions. This one is art therapy, and the young people are using photographs to help explore their conditions.
Images can make you think all different sorts of things.
Yeah.
What do you think about the pictures that you've chosen?
This one reminds me of like all the voices, all my voices.
Okay.
Locked in separate boxes.
Brilliant, okay.
And that one's obviously about my thoughts.
Yeah.
Like my past and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's it really.
So that one's really interesting, especially given that you said that when you were walking around.
The problem for Matty is the voices can strike at any time, day or night.
Shit.
Do you want me to take you back through, Matty?
Please.
Okay.
The voices cause Matty so much distress, he turns violent and has already punched holes in the walls of his room.
I hear around 50 voices. They're all shouting at me, talking over each other. What I do, I write stuff, what they say to me. I've written some down there and drew some pictures. But just do it, just kill yourself. Black Matty, that was my nickname. Diary, bang and he's gone. That just says, fuck my life. When I do write it down, I can tell like the nurse or the doctor and give it to them. I don't give a shit about them. I hope they get fucking slaughtered and I will kill.
All the patients on the McGuinness unit are here because they're considered a danger to themselves. It's a mixed ward of boys and girls aged 13 to 17, but there are usually 2 girls to every boy.
We have a male corridor that has got 4 beds on it, and there's 11 female beds. Males find it difficult to talk about the problems that they're having. A bloke's more likely to sort of like disappear and keep himself to himself. The females are more likely to talk to people.
Four days ago, a new boy arrived on the unit.
Since I started with my depression, I've had a couple of suicide attempts, which is the worst way to deal with it. And I just didn't see any other way of coping with it.
16-year-old George is a very talented rugby player, and he won a prestigious scholarship to a top boarding school in Cumbria.
I'm there wearing someone else's shirt. There's me.
But while there, over 200 miles from his home in the south, he developed severe depression and tried to kill himself.
This is from my house at school, Sedgwick House. They all signed it. There's a picture of the boys. I wish you the very best of luck. I hope you get better soon. My thoughts will be with you. You're a very special member of this house and you will be deeply missed. Much love, Tom. A lot of my mates wonder why I'm here. And it was quite hard for them, I think, to understand why I was getting taken away and put into a unit like this. I decided to write them a letter for my schoolmaster to read out. I just told them that I have got a mental problem at the moment and I need a bit of help. And they all were apparently quite touched by that, my letter, and apparently there were a few tears in a boy's house, which is, you don't normally get. But it was nice to hear how certain people were. And yeah, I'm getting a lot of support from my school.
It's not just his school that is supporting him. Once a week, George's father, Mark, drives up from the family home in Essex to spend time with his son. He's brought some pictures for George to put in the scrapbook that he's been making.
What do you use it for?
I just look at it when I'm feeling a bit shitty.
It's a nice one, you and Mum, that. Portugal
Yeah,
Hills.
there's one there.
Oh my word, look at my nose.
There's one there.
Grandad?
There's Grandad Bill.
Aisha? Grandad Bill?
That was 2 years ago. And that was October, November time. It just seems like a long time ago.
I remember the first game I watched him, I got a train up to Macclesfield. You didn't know I was there, I was standing behind a tree. And it was pouring with rain, and then
I scored 4 tries.
he scored 4 tries, and I didn't know he'd been made captain either, and so there was people going, "God, who's that?" You know, and I was sort of saying about my son, you know. So it's very proud to get a phone call near to midnight, you know, saying that your son's had a severe incident of depression, and thinking that, you know, what's going on in his mind. Quite frightening, very frightening. Some upsetting things, wasn't it, you know?
Psychiatrist Dr. Acho has been looking after George since he was admitted.
He would like to become a professional rugby player, and he's very competitive, and this has created a lot of pressure on him, and feeling depressed, and then made up his mind to end his life by hanging himself.
Boys like George and Matty often arrive on the unit angry, violent, and aggressive.
You probably find that males in general get to more of a crisis point, whereas with females, because they do like to talk about things, they will it will come up in conversation, and people will sort of see that there may be problems a little bit earlier. A bloke's more likely to be quite aggressive, quite hostile, you know, hitting out, punching things, needing to blow off steam, as it were.
Matty has been on the ward for 2 weeks, but the voices are still with him.
I don't know exactly like when they started, but I started hearing 3-4 years ago. They told me that everything was going to be all right if I listened to them. They could help me. If anyone tries to get in your way, hurt them. Like sometimes I get proper agitated about them. I don't even see how it can. I don't even see how it can happen. It's madness. Like it's not normal. And I don't like it.
Matty's been having home leave every week, but last night the voices in his head became so unbearable that for only the second time since he's been on the unit, he self-harmed. The review team meet to discuss whether he's safe enough for his home leave today.
I met him with Dr. Acho on Monday. He was talking about saving up money to buy a gun. So he knows that the gun costs about £250 and they sell it in the Manchester city centre. So we were kind of wondering if he wanted the gun to keep himself safe with the paranoid thoughts he expressed, or, he had intentions to kind of end his life. He said initially it was for both the purposes.
I think he's getting worse, to be honest. I'm worried about it. So, I mean, I'm concerned that we don't really know a sufficient amount in terms of the risk he presents to others. That is concerning to me, so it's how we can get a clearer picture of that.
No. He's already committed. Fuck's sake. What a tit.
Matty isn't the only one struggling with anger on the unit.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fuck off. Oh, selfish bastard.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
What did you do? Punch it?
Yeah, they restrained me into this corner, but then I ended up punching the wall.
Are you joking?
And then got put in seclusion.
Did you get put in seclusion? Was you secluded? Was you locked in? Why?
And they gave me 2 diazepam.
Like cardboard.
It's not me when I'm angry, it's someone else sometimes. That's what it feels like. I can't really think for myself, my anger thinks for me. Which probably sounds really weird, but it's just how it feels. And I can't really do anything about it. Once I get there, it just sort of happens.
George's anger is often prompted by a voice in his head. Like Matty, George takes antipsychotic and antidepressant drugs and has regular sessions with psychiatrists to discuss his progress.
You're looking quite well today, actually.
You are looking well.
When I saw you on Monday, kind of your feeling, it was half-half, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was pretty shitty. I was fine, and then after breakfast, I went in for a shower, got changed, and then suddenly something came over me, I suppose, and I just started to feel really crappy.
What about this issue about the voices? That is a lot better now.
No, they're still there. They're still there a lot. A lot at night, sometimes during the day. And now I hear things and see things when I'm not depressed. I still see them when I'm depressed, but I see them now when I'm not depressed as well. And the paranoia's got a lot worse. A lot worse.
The head of psychology at the McGuinness unit is Dr. Andy Rogers. For him and his staff, young people hearing voices is a common problem.
One of the triggers can be an increase in stress or anxiety. And with anxiety, their thoughts race, you know, so that they're thinking about things and feeling anxious a lot of the time. They then start to question what's real and what's not real. These things creep up over time, often. That's what young people say. It's not that they wake up one day and, you know, there's usually a story around their experiences, and helping to understand what that story is and helping them understand actually can then help them manage the symptoms better.
The voice in George's head is a man who tells him he is worthless and should quit rugby.
It does scare me. I shake and I cry, and that's when my anxiety gets worse, I suppose. A couple of nights ago I had my worst episode of it. I called my dad because I was really scared. He was saying horrible things, really derogatory things, and asking me questions, telling me what people thought. I can't live like this. Do it all the time. You know, it's a burden almost. But I hate it. Really hate it.
Cheers, Laura.
All right.
Like most people on the unit, Matty and George are voluntary patients. They've agreed to be here. But others have been sectioned under the Mental Health Act, which means that they don't have a choice. Like Beth, who has to stay on the ward.
I'm 17. And they fit me.
Beth was admitted 4 months ago with an eating disorder and depression. She would not eat for days at a time.
I've gone 100 hours with no food or drink.
She wouldn't comply with staff and self-harmed regularly.
That helps it fade. I had that bandage today and that steri strip today.
You won't let us weigh you. That'll be changing.
No, it won't.
What's your biggest fear?
That I've put on weight since I've been in here anyway. Because I know I have.
That was 3 months ago. Since then, Beth's condition has improved. She started eating at mealtimes and is self-harming less. Being on a section means she must comply with her treatment. She has finally started to be weighed. This is the first time Beth has allowed the cameras to film her on the scales.
£51. Go and get him ready, or you go and get him back in?
Go back to bed.
Since she was sectioned, her food intake has increased, meaning her weight today is 51 kilograms. But this is still under her target weight of 57.
What have you done? I'm not too sure.
I think it was more anxiety before because I was really unsure of my weight and I thought it would be like put on 20 million stone, but I've not. They've got to weigh me anyway so I can be discharged. I still get scared because I don't want to put on weight, but you've got to. Like, it's the illness that's telling you not to put on weight.
She slept by before midnight and she slept all the way through till past 7 o'clock in the morning.
Medication can be an effective way of managing a patient's condition, but over-reliance on some drugs can become a problem.
She's sleeping all the way through up till 8.
Today, the review team are going to change Beth's sleeping medication.
Because if you're staying asleep that well and your sleep is not interrupted, I don't know what is Opiclone going to do. The most effective thing is really the sleep hygiene to get her to sleep, or melatonin.
George, Jill, do you mind giving us some privacy, please?
Beth might be getting better, but being told that her drugs are going to be changed is making her stressed.
There's got to be some positives, though, wasn't there?
What? Being stuck else people know. Everybody just lets you down.
But look how much progression that you've made since admission. You know, and one of the things that can reflect that is you leave.
Get up doing well.
And what do you want? You tell me what, because I can't just get her, can I? I need to tell her what you want.
Write me up for that.
For Zopiclone?
Yeah, and take me off melatonin.
Okay, I'm going to give her a ring and see if we can find something out. Very demanding, aren't you?
Yeah, because nothing gets stolen.
Alright, let me just find who's got the keys. She's gone home.
No!
Tonight, we're not going to be able to get you anything, alright? Listen.
No!
Just calm down, because this isn't going to get us anywhere, is it? I know you think we're all crap, and we do our best. I know it doesn't feel like that, but...
Will you leave me alone, please?
Yeah? Right, you just want some time to calm down.
Yeah.
Don't wind yourself up, alright? And we'll do everything that we can to sort it out. Hopefully she'll be able to put things into perspective and see what we're doing and how we're trying to help. She didn't think people cared. Nobody was doing anything for her, whereas we are, but because she's in a distressed state, she's not seeing the true picture.
Matty has now been on the ward for 4 weeks, but he is still hearing voices in his head and fears that when he turns 18 in just 2 weeks, someone will kill him. Last night he had an angry outburst, threw a chair at the wall and had to be restrained.
I'll try to calm down, but I was hearing voices, got really angry, started hitting myself, and then the closest thing to me was that. But they put you in a headlock and my head was killing. I'm glad that they did it, like, to take me down there, because I had time to myself to calm down. That's basically what it's for. Yeah, it was alright. Well, it weren't alright, but it was alright.
The last couple of minutes.
Matty has been finding group sessions difficult to deal with and usually leaves abruptly halfway through.
And sometimes it can feel as though you're on your own, and it can feel as though actually you don't have anybody to support you.
Today's session is with Vicky, the occupational therapist.
What I want you to do is just take a couple of minutes to have a think about who are the people that support you. Your family, it can be friends, whoever it might be. Matty?
Maybe one person. Apart from that, I don't think no one else.
Okay. And do you feel able to access the support from that particular person if you need to?
Not always.
Not always.
This is the first time Matty has stayed to the end of this type of group activity. It marks a massive step forward.
See, it's very exciting, this group.
I know.
Aren't you glad you stayed?
Not really.
No? Oh, no. Thank you.
Cheers.
Just towards the end there, he had, by the end of it, written, I think, 5 names of people who are there to support him. He was able to think about it and reflect on it and write those things down. So that's actually really positive as well. And even if he takes away nothing else from today, but he takes away the fact that actually he does have people, because initially he wrote no one.
I used to just bottle it all up, but it's just helped me speaking to people. Like, they will listen and someone will actually understand what I'm saying.
So basically what we're doing first is measuring out 150 grams into your bowl.
The McGuinness unit has both boys and girls because the doctors wanted to feel as close to the outside world as possible. But that can bring about its own complications. A flirtation has developed between 2 patients on the ward. Any form of romance is strictly forbidden.
He's the type of guy that I would go for on the outside. Oh, for God's sake, I'm giving up. But like I feel like I've gone mad.
Yeah, me and Beth are really close now. Yeah, we're pretty close, I suppose.
Oh my god!
Ollie?
We just get along really well when he's not being a dick.
Oh!
He knows how to wind me up. And I guess I know how to wind him up, so.
Why are your slippers there?
We have kind of hinted at each other that we do kind of like each other, but it's the wrong circumstances because we're in a psychiatric hospital. Like, what can you do in a psychiatric hospital?
Everyone's in a vulnerable state. So it could, like, if you ended up having an argument, it could affect your recovery.
To say sorry to George for throwing his slippers out of the window, Beth makes him a pancake in the cookery class.
What a shitty pancake.
Oh, sure.
Looks like potato.
Don't know why we There's paper plates in here. Oh, that's sticky.
Ta-da! See, it now looks like a pancake.
But George is not that impressed with Beth's offering.
I'm definitely not fucking touching it. What's that white shit around it?
It's homemade.
Oh, that's me.
Patients' moods change daily, sometimes hourly, so they have regular mental health assessments. These give the staff and young people a clearer picture of what's going on inside the patient's head.
Earlier this week, I got my first report back from my case manager and my psychologist. But I didn't think I'd get statistics like these, really, like the percentage. Like, for instance, anxiety, I scored 97%, depression, 95.8%, anger, 96.8%, disruptive behaviour, 90%, and they're all extremely elevated, which isn't good. I never thought they were going to be that high, really. All the things I'm worried about, like voices and all those sorts of things, just in one document, which is pretty useful to have, because now I can see it in paper and like I know all the issues and problems without guessing.
This information helps George understand his problems better, and the time on the unit gives him space to reflect on his situation.
Fucking free. It's like a safety blanket, really. Yeah. It's like I feel more secure and more safe here than I did before. I'm with people that understand me.
The decision George makes about his future could affect the rest of his life. For the past 2 years, he has been on a rugby scholarship at a boarding school in Cumbria, living his dream. But as he struggled to cope so far from home, it's made him question what is best for him and his recovery.
We're going to talk a bit about kind of the future and kind of what, like...
3 weeks later, during a session with Dr. Paul, George makes his decision.
Really, it's just the fact that I'm not going back to my boarding school.
Okay.
Because boarding school isn't the right place for me at the moment.
Yeah.
It's quite hard to swallow, but that is the right decision.
In terms of like friends and stuff, what have you got down there? And have you got a lot of friends still from like school times?
Yeah, a few.
Yeah.
Having decided to leave his boarding school and go back to live with his family in Essex, George will be moved to another psychiatric unit closer to home, but only when a bed becomes available. In recent weeks, Beth, who is sectioned under the Mental Health Act, has been making progress. For the first time in 2 months, she is allowed to eat on her own.
Over the past 2 weeks, I've been taking off supervision for my snacks. I've got more leave. It's been good, like spending the time with my family. It's weird and it's scary, but it's just because I've been stuck in here for loads of time.
Being in hospital has meant Beth has had to give up some of the things she loves most. Before she was admitted, she had taken part in many dance competitions and won lots of trophies.
It made you feel a bit sad, knowing...
It makes me feel a bit sad.
Yeah, a bit emotional.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, you know, you can start up your dancing and everything like that again, can't you?
But due to her eating disorder, she is not allowed to exercise because she'd lose weight.
So that is still the case? Compliance with weight monitoring and meal plan remains improved, isn't it?
That's right. Now the staff must decide if Beth has made enough progress to return to dancing.
She's going to be burning off energy. Is her weight going to plummet
So
because of
activity
this?
levels in relation to her diet
Yeah.
and things like that, isn't it? So where we are in terms of how much she can tolerate, there isn't as such. This leave remains contingent on the presentation of this
So it'd be like a
assessment. On
nurse's
particular-
discretion, sort
It
of.
is on
Yeah.
that particular day. So it's been a
It's been a long 5 months, but Beth is finally back on the dance floor.
Just seeing everyone and like how everyone's missed me. I'm just really glad to be back because I'd never thought they'd let me back, like once I've been put in the unit.
The dance class shows just how far Beth has come in her recovery, and she's even started writing a book about her experiences with mental illness.
Mental health is so common, yet there is so much stigma surrounding it. We are all just normal, everyday people. In fact, walking along a busy street today, you probably passed over 150 people with some form or severity of mental health. I have a mental illness. Am I ashamed? Not anymore. I admit, yeah, I did used to hide and lie about my illness, but now why should I have to lie about something that has made me grow into a stronger and overall better person? Why hide something that makes me unique?
Fantastic. I mean, that just gives people tremendous insight into what it's like to be you, really, and what it's like to suffer from such a horrible condition, really.
There is a week to go before Matty turns 18. He has always found it difficult to open up. But today his best friend Ryan is coming to visit him.
Yes, Ryan. How you doing? You good? Yeah. Sweet.
And it's a chance for Matty to talk about what he's been going through.
A few years ago, I weren't aiming nothing like this, and now it's just happened. It's not real. You get me? When they let me down here, socialising with everybody, I tried to hang myself in the bathrooms over there.
Why was you feeling like that when they moved you down here?
Because I was just like depressed that day, and I just didn't want to stay anymore. The best option for me was to go, and that was the way I was gonna go.
You seem a bit happier now, though. You seem a bit more you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Getting back to the Matty I used to know.
Sweet.
I noticed he was getting down and they weren't interacting well. I'd say something and then you'd just be like, what did you say? It's like, you know, the paranoia, like, I noticed the paranoia coming in. A lot of people have a stigma about it and sometimes even stereotype people on depression. I do understand why people could be a bit nervous, but I'm alright with it. I'm always here.
Matty has taken big steps forward in the unit, but with his 18th birthday imminent, it means he will have to leave the ward.
When a young person turns 18, although from being 17 one day to 18 the next day doesn't matter for us clinically, what it means legally is that they are an adult. And what that means is that you have an adult on a children's ward, and that raises lots of legal and safeguarding issues.
The search is underway to find Matty a bed on an adult ward somewhere in the region, but beds can be hard to come by.
We have to walk to the side, doctor, please. Thank you very much. Everybody has to walk like this, so you don't mess my floor up. Good shake. This is good for the hips. You could do a dance with it, if you wanted to. Oh, I'm sweating now.
George is still waiting to find out when he will be transferred to a psychiatric hospital closer to his home in the south. Over the past 2 weeks, he has started to improve, returning to the things he once did. taking part in more group activities. Even though he doesn't want to go back to his prestigious boarding school, he now knows that he wants to return to the sport he loves.
I'm there at the back. I'm on the way to getting a scholarship at a school close to home. A lot of the work I've done is looking at things in perspective, and if one thing goes wrong, not everything's going to go wrong, and that's what I used to get anxious about. I think the one big thing that has changed is my mindset, because I'm probably more mentally tough than I have been, and I think that's a big factor. I just can't wait to get back out there and do some people proud.
After 10 weeks on the unit, George is leaving today, moving to a hospital closer to his home in Essex.
No! Are you going? Oh my god!
So things improved while you've been here? Yeah. Bit nervous about moving on? Yeah, a bit. Yeah. Well, keep up the hard work, well done. Thank you. I probably won't see you again.
It's obviously a very difficult morning for him, and he's a lad, he doesn't really want to show it, but you can clearly tell he's quite nervous about it. But hopefully he won't be at the new place for too long, because he's took massive steps while he's been with us, but it will obviously be very difficult for him.
Okay, no problem. Cheers, sir.
Group hug, everyone.
Group hug. Come on. Oh, good. Oh, Claire.
George leaving makes Beth even more determined to get home.
Come me through.
Come on. No, you won't open me cold.
What is that?
Right, watch your feet.
I don't really want to make it.
Beth is one of the unit's longest standing residents.
Which one's on yours? It's actually really nice.
Beth is now starting to look to the future for the first time.
When I get discharged from here, I'm gonna go home, sleep in a nice comfy bed with new bedding, new duvet cover, new pillows. I still want things to go faster than they're going, but things are going like really fast now. Like my weight's more stable now, and I've got the energy to actually do things.
The last 3 readings should all have been rounded to 51.5.
That's true. It's maintained.
Yes,
It's not
it is.
dipped again.
Yes,
the trend of 2 readings that we saw,
Mhm.
that was the initial sort of aim really,
Yes.
isn't it?
The review team is pleased with her progress, but need to ensure she continues to gain weight.
We're looking at a leave date being around the 25th.
This is the last bit of her recovery that she really needs to achieve while she's still with us, and it's a difficult one for her. And we have to concentrate on the fact as well that we need to achieve it this week, really, for her then to, focus her mind towards discharge.
After nearly 6 months in the unit, the end is in sight. It's now up to her to prove she's ready to go. But last night, she self-harmed. A search is now underway for a razor in her bedroom or outside her window.
Used it and then she threw it out, and that's the bit she's used. There. That's the bit she's self-harmed with.
Now her room is being turned upside down by staff to ensure there are no other blades, and the doctor has come to say her home leave is being cancelled.
Is there no chance I can go home?
We do agree that your leave have been really, really good, and it has helped you, okay? And stopping you from going on leave is not as a punishment because you self-harmed. Okay, but we want to make sure that you are safe.
I am
okay?
safe.
We want
what have I done on leave that's preventing me from going? Except a little stupid thing that I did on the unit last night.
Okay, so you,
But that was last night, that's not today.
so you accept it for the stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want arms like this, do I?
All I'm saying, Beth, is... it will be
Wait till
reviewed
tomorrow.
Yeah.
You don't understand though. None of you doing it. You all think, oh, it'll be fine tomorrow. We'll just sort it out tomorrow. But tomorrow's ages away when you've been stuck in here almost 6 fucking months.
So I'll speak to you tomorrow then.
No.
Yeah. Alright, you can speak to Dr. Imran tomorrow if you want.
Right, whatever.
Yeah?
Just please get out my room.
I will.
You don't even know what you're on about. You're so shit.
Alright, thanks, Beth. Thanks for speaking to me.
No, no, don't even talk to me. Just go away.
Not go and get yourself tissue while I search your chair. Yeah.
The staff did not find any other blades, and despite the setback, it's actually made Beth aware of how much progress she has been making.
In the past when I self-harmed, it used to make me feel really good and really better. And it didn't even hurt, like. But this time it was just like annoying because I don't know, I just kept getting annoyed because it wouldn't stop bleeding, and then I thought, shit, I need to get it seen to, and it just, I don't know, it just don't work the same anymore. Like the fact that it didn't really work for me this time, I think it just shows that I am getting better now.
I think one of the things that we notice and we sort of expect is that as young people come up for discharge, their anxiety builds because, in effect, they're going back out to their life and their experience, and so it wouldn't be unusual for young people to have a blip or to seem like they're taking a step back, and it's about supporting them through that process. I guess it would be unusual not to expect a young person to be more anxious.
When people hear the word recovery, what comes to mind?
When you're mental and then you're not mental.
Okay, how do you feel about the word mental?
No,
That's what we are. Mental hospital.
I don't know really. Just helping yourself.
Helping.
People helping you.
Your friends helping you.
Yeah.
In the 6 weeks that he has been on the ward, Matty has been convinced someone will kill him on his 18th birthday. The paranoia has been so strong that he has considered taking his own life on the day. The staff on the unit are hoping to find a bed for Matty at an adult hospital. But a couple of days later, on the evening before he turns 18, it is still not clear what is going to happen to him.
I'm still pretty worried and anxious and paranoid about what's happening. I mean, it's tomorrow. Pardon me, it starts like 12 o'clock tonight. Anything can happen.
The following morning, Matty's room is empty. He was discharged after a bed suddenly became available at an adult psychiatric hospital closer to his home and friends.
Obviously, Matty wasn't particularly aware of it because pretty much the staff weren't aware of it either. So as soon as we found out that there was a bed that became available in an adult services setting, we were right on that, and that's why Matty was moved on as quickly as he was.
It's the morning of the weekly reviews, and there is a sense of anticipation on the ward. Beth has heard that the staff are discussing her possible discharge.
Stop talking about me!
But with her recent self-harming, Beth's unsure that she's done enough to convince them she is ready to go home.
How's that?
Not all three of you are talking to me, are you?
Shall I pull out? Because Krishna is there with
Yeah.
Lucy. All right, that's fine. I'm in CP anyway. So, you know, if any question, bring it back on the
Have you got a discharge date? Because that's what I want out of you. Soon? Yeah. Like, this week? Shall we? What's the discharge date? What's the discharge? Is it this week?
12 days later, and Beth is finally going home. It's been 6 months since she first arrived at the McGuinness unit.
I got taken off my section on Thursday, and then today I'm going. In some ways, it did save my life because I wasn't really well when I first came, but I won't miss these hospital blankets. It's disgusting. I'm stronger than I thought I was. I thought that the only way to stop all like things in my head was to just give up and like get rid of me and like kill myself. But now I've learned that you don't have to do that. You just need to talk and be more open and communicate with people, and that's how you can get better. See you later. See ya.
Oh, hi. Well done. See you out and about.
Yeah. I'm gonna cry. Oh, don't cry. Bye, Stephen. Try not to get killed, yeah?
I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Bye, guys. Bye, Michaela. Who's knocking? Bye.
After 4 weeks in an adult unit, Matty is now living at home and back at college. George spent a short time at a unit in Surrey. He's back at his family home, waiting to start his new school in September and playing rugby again. Beth plans to return to college and is back competing in dance competitions. Although she is finding it difficult to maintain her target weight, she has not self-harmed since leaving the unit.